How's it going, everyone? It's Tommy from Weather Smart Drought. That was today. It's July 15th, 2021, and today we're going to take a look at the heat wave that's going to dominate a lot of the United States for this week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather accounts. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather accounts. So as you can see, based off this map, we are forecasting a major heat wave and an extreme pattern change that's expected to happen along the East Coast as well as West Coast for this week. And we'll have a pretty big jet stream dip where we're going to see a pretty big cool down in the Midwest, and it could be the result of some heavy rain that could occur. But so let's get into it by taking a look at the current temperatures all throughout the United States. So right now it's I'd say right around 3:30. So this is when the peak of the temperatures should be. This is pretty much the peak time at which the temperatures should be the highest, and you see that throughout the East Coast. We're seeing temperatures reach up to 90 right around New York City, as we're several degrees above average at this point, where we're seeing just high 80s and low 90s for most of the eastern United States, just east of the Mississippi River Valley. And for the West Coast right now, we're seeing right around 80 degrees in Los Angeles, 96 in Phoenix, and we're seeing temperatures right around 92 in Las Vegas. However, we need to keep in mind that it's still relatively early, so temperatures should rise to potentially up to 100 in Phoenix and maybe to upper 90s in Las Vegas. However, for the rest of the week, we should experience just very high temperatures throughout the West Coast, as we're going to see just a monster ridge move through into the West Coast, and we're going to see a ridge linger around the Northeast. However, the good news is for those who do not like the heat, we should see a relatively big cool down upcoming as the trough moves through closer to the East Coast. So let's take a look at the GFS model at this point, the temperature anomaly, and this is the forecasted temperature anomaly for today. You see that a lot of the West Coast has temperature anomalies well above average at this point, where we're seeing southwestern California receive temperatures well above average, and a lot of the state of Nevada is receiving temperatures well above average, and even further northward into Idaho, into Montana, and even into eastern Oregon could receive temperatures that are just very high and much higher than what you typically see. However, it's a stark contrast when we take a look at the Midwest forecast right now, because you see the temperatures are forecast to be well below average for this time of the year. If we were to move forward, you see that headed into Friday afternoon, you see that a lot of the Midwest is receiving temperatures that are well below average at this point. And however, you see that the eastern half of the United States is receiving still well above average temperatures as a result of a pretty dominating ridge that's bringing strong southwesterly flow into the Northeast. And also, it's very dry currently in that region, where the cloud tops aren't really blocking a lot of that shortwave radiation from heating up the surface of the East Coast. If we move forward into Saturday, you're going to see that it's still going to be much warmer than average across the East Coast. And for the West Coast, currently you see that the northern West Coast, while they are receiving temperatures much warmer than average, you see that it becomes a little bit less inconsistent as you head further southward along the West Coast, where you see temperatures well below average for this time of the year. However, we do see patches again of temperatures well above average, so it's a little inconsistent. However, that's expected to change headed into Sunday, July 18th, where now you see the temperatures all across the West Coast are well above average for this time of the year. And the eastern half of the United States, it's primarily below average, but you see now we're seeing a pretty big heat wave across the West Coast, the western coast of the United States, as it's just dominating a lot of the West Coast at this point. And moving forward, you're going to see that the temperatures continue to be well above average headed into Monday, July 19th, and the Midwest and the East Coast remains below average. And then moving even further than that, July 20th, the high temperatures continue headed into Tuesday, July 20th. So we're going to see this heat wave continue throughout the West Coast, where we could see temperatures up to well over 100 in Phoenix, potentially Las Vegas as well. And overall, just a pretty big heat wave for a lot of the West Coast, especially in Montana as well. They could experience just very high temperatures. And headed into the July 21st, we begin to see things cool down in New Mexico and Arizona just a little bit. However, you see that the heat wave continues even going beyond the 7-day mark throughout the West Coast. So you guys need to pay close attention to this. Heat is one of the leading causes of death, weather-related deaths in the United States, and it's something you seriously do not want to underestimate it. And a lot of people tend to do that because heat is a very silent killer. It's not like a tornado or a hurricane where it's obvious that you're going to be under life-threatening conditions. Heat isn't like that. It's heat is very silent, and you typically don't notice when it's doing harmful things to your body. So make sure to just stay prepared for a pretty big heat wave throughout the West Coast for this week. Taking a look at the forecasted temperatures over the next several days, you see that is today's forecast. It's going to be above average throughout the East Coast when it comes to temperatures as a high. And you see in Los Angeles, we could see temperatures up to 86. Stark contrast in San Francisco, where temperatures are around 63, and then in Phoenix and Las Vegas, you are expected to receive temperatures over 100 degrees a day. So make sure to keep that in mind. And even further up north, where Boise is experiencing very high temperatures at 96, Reno 94, and Salt Lake City at 97. So you guys are gonna experience just a very strong heat wave out of this. The high temperatures continue into Friday, and however, I wouldn't say the heat wave really begins until, let's say, Sunday, where we see the temperatures rise up again to the upper 70s in Los Angeles. Phoenix is receiving temperatures over 100 again, and you see Boise, Idaho is receiving temperatures up to 103 degrees, and Salt Lake City as well. Billings, Montana is receiving temperatures right around 103 degrees. So just very high temperatures, and even Seattle is getting temperatures up in the 70s. And head into day 5, you see that the high temperatures continue. Los Angeles is at an even higher temperature, and we see Phoenix and Las Vegas continuing to receive just very high temperatures out of this day 6. The temperatures continue, and we even see it extend to North Dakota, where we could see temperatures up to 101 degrees, while a lot of the Midwest is right around average to below average, I'd say, in the middle 80s at this point, and this extends to the East Coast as well. So you guys definitely want to keep that in mind for the rest of this week. And day 7, the heat continues all throughout the West Coast. So this is certainly something you guys need to pay close attention to all throughout the United States, because there's going to be a pretty big pattern change, and it's going to be hotter than usual along the West Coast of the United States. So make sure to keep that in mind and stay hydrated during just very strong heat waves like this. Well, I wouldn't say very strong, but make sure to be aware that temperatures will be above average all throughout the West Coast for this week, because again, you do not ever want to underestimate what the heat could do. So make sure to be aware of that. And as for when it'll end, it doesn't really we don't really know when the above average temperatures will end, because after the 5-day mark, forecasting temperatures becomes uncertain like usual, like with every other pattern. But it does seem like eventually the GFS model will bring cooler than average temperatures throughout the southwestern United States. However, you see that Montana and the states northward aren't really getting out of the above average heat. So we could see a long-term pattern along the northern United States and northwestern portion of the United States, just east of Seattle and Portland. So make sure in those states be especially aware because the heat will just be very strong in those regions. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content. And I hope you guys all have a good day.